Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with Google Cloud. My name is Nikhil, and I am a product manager on G Suite.
And I'm Scott, a product manager on Google Cloud Platform.
Today, we'll be talking through one of the top questions we get from our customers. How can I stop exfiltration with data loss prevention? First, let's start with the Core DLP platform offered by Google. The Core platform allows our customers to have a consistent detection experience across G Suite and Google Cloud Platform, or GCP. Given the nature of data stored within applications and storage buckets, the products are surfaced slightly differently to our end users. However, the underlying detection capabilities remain the same for all services. Next, we'll move to show you a quick demonstration of how DLP helps in protecting against data loss in the G Suite environment. I will first start with a use case where an end user is attempting to send an email out with some details of credit card information. This is my regular Gmail compo screen, and I'm going to type a piece of text which includes credit card information for a particular user. Now, I'm attempting to send this to my personal address, which is against company policies. But as a user who has malicious intent, I'm trying to send this over anyways. So I'm gonna use this information and try to send it over to my home address. Now, the system at the point of egress looks into the contents of the email and attempts to detect whether there was a credit card number that was being exfiltrated or not. As you noticed, the email was bounced back. We get a message from the underlying DLP system that the message was blocked with a custom response that you as the administrator can compose. In this case, it says that the email was blocked because of the company's policy, and the user can reach out to the incident response team if they think it was an error. For reference, you could have a similar file in Drive, and when the user tries to open the file and tries to share it to the share dialog box, the DLP system would come in and inspect the content one more time. We perform these inspections for data at rest so that the users can be warned, which is the example in this case, or we can even share the publicly shared links if needed. Let's take a very quick look at what the administrative experience looks like in order to facilitate these end-user interactions or prevent data from leaking from the G Suite applications. This is the administrative console where a DLP administrator can go and author custom rules for their environment. If you go to the details of the DLP rule that I have authored for credit cards, we can look at a quick summary that this rule is enabled for the entire domain and is looking for credit card information. I'll show you a quick view when I edit the rule and go to the list of conditions and actions that the rule essentially encompasses. In this case, I am detecting files which are shared through Google Drive or are sent as an email to external entities. And I have used Google's predefined custom detector that allows me to inspect credit card numbers. There are a variety of other customizations that you can do, like regexes if you need to, but this is a simple use case where we are only inspecting and looking for credit card numbers in the environment. I can also prescribe the actions that are expected to be taken when an employee tries to share this information externally. So for instance, I have configured warning for Google Drive, and I have configured rejection of emails for Gmail. As I had shown in the end user experience, administrators have an option to configure the customized messages that go back to the end users. So that's the rule setup. Let's talk very briefly about how does an admin get to know when such events happen in their environment. So if we look at DLP incidents that have been generated based on these policies, you can quickly go triage into the kind of violations that you are seeing in your environment. You can understand where are these violations happening, and you can even go a lot more detailed into the specific of each incident violation that happens using our investigation tool. So that's yet another way of making sure that the administrators are informed when a potential data loss event occurs in your environment. With that, I'll transition it back to Scott, who would show us similar use cases for the storage buckets in Google Cloud Platform as well.
Now I will walk you through how we can apply this Core DLP technology on Google Cloud Platform to discover and protect data. So we're going to start here at the Google Cloud Platform Cloud Console. I'm going to navigate over to Security and then Data Loss Prevention. And we're going to look at a use case of a cloud storage bucket that has data shared across our company. And we want to make sure that we don't have sensitive data like credit card numbers shared in this bucket. So first I'm going to show you what the results of an audit scan look like. So in this case, we have an audit scan that is configured to run weekly. It scans for a bunch of different things. And we're going to look at the latest scan here. And in this case, what we're seeing is all the findings from the latest job run. And as we see here, it looks like we did find some credit card numbers, along with some other things. But we're going to focus in on this credit card number and see what that is and what we can do about it. Now, as an audit scan, what this is doing is it's running on a periodic basis. It's going to scan the data, and it's going to alert us or tell us of any findings. What we want to do now is we want to dive in and look at this particular finding. And to do that, we can navigate to BigQuery and run SQL queries against it, or we can use Data Studio to look at a more visual audit report. So I'm going to switch over here to Data Studio and show an audit report that we have created for this scan. What I've done here is I've narrowed down to look just at credit card numbers. And as we see here, we have a file in our company shared bucket that looks like a bunch of chat logs, and it looks like it contains credit card numbers. So this is something that, as an admin or as a data privacy officer, I would want to be aware of. And we want to remediate this to ensure that this data is not shared to people that should not see it, or go in and see if we can remove or redact this information before we share it and use it. Now, configuring this audit scan is easy. We're going to go back and show you what that would look like by going back to the Cloud Console. We're going to click on Create Job or Trigger. And we're just going to walk through how an administrator or data privacy officer would configure this. So first I give this job a name, and then I decide where I want to scan. In this case, we're going to scan cloud storage. We could also scan BigQuery or Cloud Data Store. And for this, I'm just going to navigate, click on that bucket. I can also configure advanced settings like sampling or filtering if I don't want to scan all the files. But in this case, I simply want to scan all the files. I'm going to look for a set of sensitive data, including credit card number. I can set actions to take when the job is done. And I can easily set a schedule like we did in that example where we simply ran the job weekly. So once I configure this, I click Create, and now that job is done and ready to go. Thank you for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.